Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. So having a wonderful day on this crazy hair day, on this 9th March 2025. Um, I'm coming in with a bit of a situation today, and it's a positive video, but it's a negative video. So as you guys know, I've been feeling depressed. Not depressed, but feeling depressed. Again, very different from depression itself. And please understand what I'm saying. Very different from depression. I'm not talking about, oh my god, you're depressed. What a wussy. There's nothing wrong with being depressed. I was depressed. I had depression at 22 years old, at 25, and at 30 years old. There's nothing wrong with that. The reason why I'm making this video is you can tell right now I'm a bit more joyful than usual. And that's because we had junk food. We had ice cream, we had chips, we had energy drinks, and we're about to have soda, ginger soda, or ginger ale. I don't know what you call it. Now, the situation I'm seeing with that, the problem that I'm having with that is this really helped my mood out. I think we have the sugar, but I feel like I'm in a lot better mood. And this is a good thing because I know that if I was to be in a bad mood, food would save me. Now, ultimately speaking, and again, I'm not passing judgment. I'm not judging anybody. That's not the goal of the video, right? But I do believe that there's a better way to deal with your depression. A lot of people turns to rugs. A lot of people turn to alcohol, right? There's nothing wrong with that, but I think long term, I think that's not great. I think that's not a good thing to do. Now with us, what happened with us is tonight we were able to feel better because of the food. I'm trying to lose weight, right? So the food is counterintuitive, but I'm I'm such in a weird place because I'm glad I'm feeling a bit better today. I'm glad I'm gonna have a good evening. I'm gonna be eating snacks the whole night. I'm gonna have a good evening. I'm glad I'm gonna be feeling better. However, at what price? Now, you think that I'm talking about the weight, right? I'm not. I'm not. I'm talking about understanding that the only way I was able to feel better was through substance abuse. Now, with substance abuse, I'm not talking about drugs. I'm not talking about alcohol. Substance is food, right? And it's once again, it's a comfort food. When I had my biggest depression, which was at 22 years old, we spent a year and a half in the apartment, and every single day, snacks, 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 snacks. And although it was phenomenal, it's what made me stay alive. Because I would have. I think it's the fact that I wanted to be able to cure myself. And I know it's crazy. And it's such a weird thing in itself. Because you think that you're able to cure yourself. But what does it mean to cure yourself? What does it exactly mean? And there's no certification. What is it to cure yourself? Right? Now, ultimately speaking, and we're going to get into like bad conversation, bad subject, but we're talking about also holistic medication. So, for example, somebody will tell you, not me, somebody will tell you, hey, this rock will help you digest. Right? Now, there's a possibility that this is true, but there's a possibility that it's not true. Possibility that it's bullshit. And a lot of people will forego, they will turn to nature as to medication. So, for example, and to certain cases it works. For example, you know that ginger is very, very good antioxidant. You know that when you have problem digesting, coconut water will help you a lot. That's not the reason why coconut water will help you. The reason it's a laxative. So whatever you have going on there, you get the point. So I think that with where I'm going with this is it's such a complex story. I was seeing shrinks, right, 2 times. And I'll be completely honest and say not all of them, but most of them I met didn't give a single fuck. They didn't give a single fuck about me. Okay, 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 here's some pills. And then I've had a social worker. I don't know, there's a term for that. But it's a social worker. And she really helped me out. She really did. That social worker, and again, I feel bad for that. I do feel bad. If she's ever watching this, I am sorry. I had this depression. The depression, that last depression which we had, which was because somebody made us like death threats. And They sent me to a social worker, and I was pissed. They sent me to somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. They were the most helpful. She was the first one to give a shit. She didn't have, which probably she did have a diploma. She had some sort of knowledge, but she didn't have as much knowledge as a shrink. However, it doesn't matter with the amount of knowledge that she had. She helped me. You know. So my problem today is we feel better, but it's thanks to food, and I know for a fact that food will not last. That feeling of comfort won't last, because I've been there. So we're feeling a lot better, and what I'm afraid of, and what am I afraid of? Really, really afraid, and that's the reason why I'm making this video today. This morning I was feeling really good. When I say really good, I went out, right, which is a fucking. I'm gonna tell you something. The first of the steps is the hardest to take. Then it's just natural. Me going out was the hardest step. Just work out. And it was really nice. It was really nice. Then about the food, which was the motivation for going out, you trick your brain. I want to stop smoking. I don't smoke. That's the example. I want to stop smoking. Okay, well, if I stop smoking, I'm going to take the money that I would save by buying packs of cigarettes, my neighbors. And what I would do is I will take all that money to buy cigarettes, and I'll put it towards a trip. Right? Now, I know that I'm spending around $50 a week on cigarettes, right? What if I was able to say, fuck cigarettes? $50 a week, a month is $200. I want to go on a trip. It's going to take me 10 months to get that, right? Out of the 10 months, all the money that I put into cigarettes, right, will go to the trip. After 10 months that you haven't smoked cigarettes, right, you should have beaten your addiction to nicotine. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't smoke. So with the food, what I'm afraid of with the food is, I didn't need the food, right? It was gonna help, but I didn't need it. I didn't need it. What I'm really afraid is I'm gonna go high over here with the food, and it's not the food in itself. It's complicated. It's the comfort of the food, is the reaction to food, the reaction to be feeling full, is the dopamine that certain food release in your system. So the dopamine is something that your body's gonna, I don't know if it's dopamine or no, it's dopamine. Yes. You could go with melatonin. Melatonin is what makes you sleep. The dopamine is gonna be released through the experience of food, of junk food. I'm gonna be feeling a high. The one I'm afraid is the whole week we were here. This is the normal. Start going like this, right? Now with the food, I feel over here, which is great. But if the food, when it stops making the effect, I'm gonna go here. With depression, it's a weird thing. I've always dealt with it differently. The very first depression that we had at 22 years old, I turned to food. Those were, and I swear to God, those were some of the best moments of my life within depression, which is crazy. So when I used to work at a place called Marie Stéphanie, which is a coffee shop, and they gave me the Wi-Fi. So what I did was I took the Wi-Fi. I would download movies. I would go at night, because there was nobody. I would go to a parking lot at night, from 2 to 4:30, because people would start working at 5. Download movies. I stayed for almost 2 years in my apartment, eating junk food, watching shows, playing video games. It was great. It was fucking great. But I use video game as an escape. And this is a true story. This is a lot of information, but it's a true story. I use video games and food as an escape, right? And ultimately speaking, it was my longest depression. Thank God for Ben, like falling in reverse. Thank God for Ben, like falling in reverse, and thank God for amnesia inflation. The depression was so bad. Nothing Nowhere was the one that saved me. Falling in reverse, great. Nothing Nowhere saved me. And amnesia inflation was great, but then they released something. They went more electric, which I didn't like. So what ended up happening is I cut ties with everybody. My father is, I don't want to see you every single week. Nah, I don't want to see you. Not because I don't want to see you, but because, and I cut bridge with my mom, with my father. And I didn't have friends to begin with, so what's the problem there? And I had 2 years. You know what the craziest thing? Those 2 years? I don't have a lot of memories of those 2 years. But I remember getting all of those tattoos were during that 2 years. I remember distinctively listening to Yann Terriot, which is a French podcaster. And the craziest thing was he was going through depression at the same time as I did. I was listening to him complain. I was playing Borderlands 2, which is one of my favorite games. Yeah, it was really good moments. And then I started feeling better. And when I say start feeling better, start feeling a lot better. You know what I realized after that? You know what I realized? I wasn't truly happy. I never really solved the problem. I'm next to a job, and that job is filling up trucks. I have a boss that's really nice, and let me listen to music. So once again, I'm using music as an escape, right? Then I had another depression. This depression is different. They wanted me to do more work, and the pressure was a lot. So I told you the story before. I fucking love that guy, and he didn't mean to be doing something wrong to me. That boss, what he did to me. And again, Francis, gem of a person. Francis liked me, not like me, liked me, but liked me. Was a nice guy. Francis was also a nice guy. He was very misunderstood. Francis was the kind of guy that popped joke that was awkward. Francis was the kind of guy that needed to prove I can lift that much. Francis has mood swing. A really big mood swing. But I took it all and I understood that he was insecure. Francis was very insecure. Francis was a fucking brilliant dude. Francis used to tell me about the war he partake in his country. He used to tell me how they would give them pills. And that's the craziest story. And I don't know if it's true. I do not know if it's true. This is all alleged. Please understand it's all a legend. He told me about a war where you would go to a country where the water wasn't drinkable. It wasn't clean. They would tell the soldier, take this pill, right? No matter what's in the water, this will cure it. No matter what is in the water, right? And he was like, okay, well. And then this drugs made them more aggressive in the fights. And Francis, he kept me. So the summer we had like 10 to 15 trucks. The winter we had one truck. That's my ice cream if you don't mind. Because it's gonna melt. And because I could be using some ice cream, right? President Choice caramel, salted caramel. So Francis, he liked me. Now the reality is, I don't want to take away from the relationship. The reality is, it was all. So it's kind of complex. It's kind of really complex. It was an agency worker. I was a temporary agency worker. Now there is a strong bias against agency worker. There's a really strong bias. I did went to 10 places. Dollarama, Structure, the 12-hour place. The 12-hour place we did. Fabritech. I think I did 3 places. I did the snow. I'm forgetting a lot because some of those were a couple of days only. And you go in and you're being called, the temporary GC worker. And it's complicated. It's complicated because there's 3 ways of seeing this, right? The first way is, as an employee of the agency, people are treating me like shit. People are treating me like shit. First of all. Second of all, I will not last here. They'll send me someplace else. That's the first thing they'll do. That's the first thing you see. Now, of course, if you're like me, there's a step before that, which is the third one. The third one, I put it as the third because it's optional. Now, again, this is not planned. This is all in my head, so it doesn't make sense. Blame my fucking brain. The first part is you're being told we're gonna send you places, and if they like you, they'll keep you. Right? Right? That's pretty much it. Now that's not true. The agency worker will take care of your insurance. They will take care of your pay. They will take care of HR. So although you're paying more for hours, the company is making more money. I'm gonna be completely blowing your mind. With the agency worker, oh, I did Quebec, which was 2 years. The number of places I did that were long term. Insanity. Insanity. And sorry, emotions. I would believe, and then I would lose a job, and then you kind of lose hope that nobody's gonna hire you. And be stuck there for a while. Like you stop hoping, you stop hoping, you stop hoping. Then there's a magic that happens, right? You start to believe that you don't care. With a temporary agency worker, people are very, from my experience, people are very lazy. They don't put in the effort. But then, can you blame them? They're not going to get hired. They're going to get switched. The problem with agency worker is, or temporary agency is, on one day, you have a job. The next day they can say, "Fuck you. You don't have a job." Right? That's the problem. So then, with Francis, Francis kept me because he liked me. Now, Francis and I, we developed a bond of trust. I trusted him, he trusted me. And he kind of, I wouldn't say in secret, but he kind of trained me. And I'm not saying nothing in secrets. I'm saying, not on the surface, he wasn't training me on the surface, but he was training me. So, for example, he would come the day in the morning and tell me, and we were two workers in the winter, and would tell me, okay, you have this and this is what you have, this amount of that you have, this is supposed to take you around this amount of time, you have the whole day, plan your day. And I thought it was really nice because I was like, okay, well, let's say we have work for 6 hours and we have 8 hours. Okay, well, here's when we're gonna take the break, and here's when we're gonna be eating. Now the problem that was with that is during the summer, and I felt really betrayed. I felt really betrayed by Francis, and I love Francis. As an adult now, I understand. I was young. I was 24, 25. So Francis, when the summer came, we're 15 guys. He would go from truck to truck, and he would call me, say, "Hey, so what's up, Francis? Tell me, your boys are not working. Go talk to them." Francis took a step back for me to work harder, right? And I was like, "Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. I'm thankful for what you did for me, but I didn't ask you for help." I have such a hard time with people that are in the world, or not in the world. I'm so sorry. And the way people act. One of my biggest pet peeve is people that are forcing you to help. They're gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you," and you're like, "You don't need help," but you don't want to say no because you think it's a nice thing that they're doing. My biggest pet peeve is those people will often say, "Hey, I help you. You owe me." Francis was like that, and again, I don't. There's details that I learned much later, much later. So it's like, yo, and I felt like I owed him because he kept me the winter. Now the truth is, I wasn't the best worker. There's a couple of better workers than me that he fired to keep me. Right now, he it was putting a lot of pressure on me. It was putting a lot of pressure on me. Now, what ended up happening was, I later learned that Francis was also an agency worker. I learned that Francis wasn't making more than I was. The depression came from a from a sudden influx of responsibility. I was the same. I wanted more money. I was like, dude, I don't care about doing more work. You're gonna pay me more. He was making the same salary as me. He was a boss. He was making the same salary as me. Now, Francis, Francis was mad at the company for not hiring him because they did promise him they were gonna hire him. He was finding it unfair. So he kind of said, "Fuck you" to the company. I'm gonna share my loads of responsibility with this guy, Inc. He was pissed off, and then I became pissed off. The difference between me and him was he had kids, he had responsibility, he needed a job. I didn't need a job. So when it got too much, he was stuck there. Fuck, I had to feed my family. When it got too much, fuck you, bye. Right? But Francis was trying to teach me about life. What I learned later on, 2 months after that, they moved to another city. You know what's the craziest thing? You know the craziest thing? Strutsum. The company name was Strutsum. Moved to Laval. PCT moved to Laval. I think Laval has lesser tax. So long story short, this was the second depression. I felt the depression, and the reality about the depression, it wasn't about the too much work. It was about letting people down. Okay. So the first depression was because of personal reason. My best friend unalived himself. My girlfriend broke up. The second depression was I keep on telling this is the reason, but it's not the real reason. The real reason is I was a nice guy. I was helping a lot of people. And then when you start to ask for help, nobody cares. Now, the usual suspect, the usual person will figure out people don't give a fuck about you in life. Surprise, people don't give a fuck about you. I was in the middle of depression, of a beginning of depression. Then I realized that. So this was the drop that made the cup overflow. Second was professional. So with Francis, he needed me. Now the pretense of the depression was. This is actually a really good conversation. Actually, this is really complex. The second depression was. I don't like talking about it, but fuck it. It was about Francis. He trusted me. And I let him down. When you don't have responsibility, when you don't have shit to do, you don't care about letting people down. When people don't expect you to do much, and I actively did that. I presented myself as a dude, and I did that for the longest of time. I presented myself as a dude that was a nice guy, but not the best worker. So people would like having me around, but wouldn't trust me for work, so I had an easy ride for work. Francis, I let him down. And I started realizing who I let down, right? I let down a lot of people. I wasn't a good person back then. The third depression, which was the death threat. Now, the death threat was the bully at work, so that was 3 years ago. You guys, I was making content back then, so you guys pretty much know about it, so I have less to talk about. But a very, very short recap, I had this bully. And every single day, it was insult. Every single day was used, and that's a true story. I never told that. Well, maybe I did, I don't know. He used to take a pen. And he used to pierce my shirt. And snitches get stitches, right? That was it. That was the worst depression. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. He used to bully me every day. Physical bullying, emotional bullying. A lot more emotional than physical. Abuse. Toxic person. But my whole life I was told, when you see people like that, ignore them or be kinder. So I have my mindset that I'm so kind. And I'll be completely honest, I'm gonna sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I never had a person that I wasn't able to turn. I've had countless of people look at me and say, "Oh, you're a fucking mess. You're a fucking loser." But I always was so kind. They would change their mind. Look at my stats on TikTok, on YouTube, and on Twitch. You think people like the content? You think they like me? They like me. This bully was the first person I couldn't turn. And he would be so mad, and he would be so insulting. He would call me faggot. He would call me retarded. And people knew it. People knew it. And I was still very young. That's not true. I was 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 years old. Oh yeah. People started defending me. They say, "Hey, don't treat him like that. He's a good guy. Fuck you. Don't treat him like that." And I was always forgiving him. So people they start saying, "Why are we helping you? Why are we protecting you? You don't give a fuck." And then, like, the worst thing, this was the very, very worst thing that happened to me. Was the guy that bullied me. People actively were mad at me because I didn't care. They thought it's not normal that the way he's talking to you, you don't get mad. It's not normal. It isn't normal. So there's something wrong with you. Maybe you don't care. And if you don't care about him, you don't care about the job. My coworkers started to get mad at me. Very, very mad. Now I would be insulted by a lot of people. Tell you don't fucking care. No, I'm not gonna make it about race. Okay, I'm not gonna make it about race. I'm not gonna make it. But a lot of these dudes were Romanian, and Romanians are very prideful. They're European. They're very much, I wouldn't say confrontational, but it's more so a Canada. We're soft. We're very soft. We're very, very soft. Them, there's a lot more of fuck you. There's this expression. They would they would fight each other every single dinner. They would fight each other, not physically fight, but they would insult each other. And then you would ask them, "Hey, are you good? Did you have a fight?" It's like, "No, no, it's okay. Don't worry about it." They would fight. They would fight. Yeah, they would call each other names. They would insult each other's mom. And that was very different for me because I was Canadian. I was soft, right? But then the biggest mistake that I made with this guy was I forgave him. And I keep on lying to you guys. I lie to you guys a lot. I keep on telling you that, oh, well, it's the right thing to do to forgive. That's not true. The reason why I forgave him was because I wanted to prove myself that the one guy that everybody hated at work, because he was bullying others. People didn't like that guy. There's time where I felt like they were using me as an excuse to fight with this guy. I wanted to prove myself, and I wanted to prove the world that I can I can get him to like me, which he doesn't like anybody. Now, ultimately speaking, this guy it wasn't his fault. This guy missed his home country a lot. It was Moldavian. He missed his country a lot. Now, the problem with this guy is his wife. She really fell in love with the Canadian culture. His kids really fell in love with the Canadian culture. They would speak French at home. He didn't speak French. They would keep him away. His father would spend afternoons cooking traditional food for his kid to like. They said, "No, I want chicken nuggets," and he was like, "Fucking Canadian." And I was Canadian, so he didn't like me because of that. There was some from this guy, only this guy. There was some racism, but that racism came out of insecurity. Of I'm not able to, and he tried to learn French. He really tried, but he would give up. Yeah. So, and then that's the sad thing. The sad thing with this guy is that this is all thing that I realized later on. I realized when it was too late. This guy, I think at first he was really nice to me because I was a hard worker. At first he was really nice to me. Now, there is a secret here that I don't say. Now, I cannot confirm that that's true, but I was replacing a guy, and that guy was working with him. I was part of the agency workers, so my boss, Mihai, he was looking for a guy, and he didn't. At first, I wasn't the perfect option. Like I said, I was a nice guy, but I wasn't a good worker. Like, oh, I'm not sure about this guy, so he kept on hiring people, and the bully wanted me to work with him. So it was really nice to me because he knew that the other guy was leaving. When the other guy left, and I was replacing him forever, that's when he started being mean to me. And it all started with a day. And it was bad. It was bad. So when I came into the company, I realized that people were really nice. That was the first thing I noticed was they were really fucking nice to me. It was a joke, also. So you had, okay. So this is actually a crazy story. This is a good story too. A lot of company they don't care. A lot of the agency workers don't care. I hadn't worked in a year, so I was happy to work. I would come in and I was very friendly. I was like, "Hey, how are you?" And Romanians speak French because Romanian come from Latin, and Latin is the mother or the father of French. So there's a lot of similarities. I was listening to them talk and I was like, "Holy shit, I know that word." So right away I was very friendly and they were shake my hand and say, "Hey, what's your name?" Say Stefan. Nice handshake because again I wanted to work there, you know. And the first thing I noticed, there wasn't lock around. It was close to my house. Salary was very good. Like, okay, this is a place I want to go. I want to work at. And that's not the worst thing. They really took care of me. I we had a. I love those guys at work. I love them and my family. There's a lot of things that they did that was not okay. So we had one of my best friend, Junior, super nice guy, and me and Junior really clicked along because we were the same age. Me and Junior really clicked along because we were the only non-Romanian workers. So technically, that's not true. There was one Bulgarian worker. There was two Moldavian worker, and the rest was Romanian. But Moldavia and Romanian. So Moldavia is so fucking small, and they're the neighbors of Romania. So a lot of people will group them together. So it's the same culture. The guy that was from Bulgaria, also, the guy from Bulgaria, Romike, super nice guy. Romike was actually special. Romike was the first time company employee, the very first. So him and Mihai became very close. They were also the thing with Romika and Mihai, they were the same age. They got really close. They became friends. Romika was Bulgarian, but the thing with Romika is he worked so freaking much with Romanian that he understood the culture. Now, what's happened also is Bulgaria is also part of Europe, so there's a lot of similarity with the culture. So he got not necessarily assimilated, but there was a common ground, right? Me and Junior we were the outsider. However, I was treated way better than Junior. Junior was Filipino. They would call him Chinese. Now, ultimately speaking, it's a joke, and I gotta shout out to Junior. Junior knew it was a joke. He wasn't mad about it. That was low key racism, you know. Now, the boss kept asking. It kept asking, "Hey, do you have a friend that can work?" Junior had people. Junior was a good guy. Junior was. So this is something I have a lot of Filipino friends. That's something I notice about Filipinos. They're very community prone, very community prone. So they'll help there's a there's almost and I saw that about Romanian too, but there's almost this unhealthy thing. If you get into a fight, or for example, you have the choice between helping me or helping another Filipino, to the Filipino, the Romanian they would use Mihai to be more kind, and then when Mihai would get mad, say, "Why are you screaming at me? We're both Romanian." Doesn't change shit. It doesn't, whatever the race you are, there's assholes. So the Filipino, and then Junior was understanding of that, but his best friend Mariano wasn't understanding of that. Mariano was special. Mariano was a really good dude, and I wish I was closer to Mariano. I wish I was closer, The problem with Mariano was he had good days and he had bad days. On good days, he was one of the nicest guy. On bad days, you couldn't talk to him. He would get mad at you, right? And ultimately, I was using my phone a lot, right? Because it was boring. The guy that was a bully. Okay, so it's complicated. It's a long story, but the guy that was a bully would come in, and he didn't want to work. He would call people to come here to talk to him, and he would talk to them for 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And I was there. Now he wouldn't get in trouble. I was getting in trouble to be on my phone. So then we lost. This guy was a bully. We lost one of the employees. One of the employees, we lost him because this guy and the bully got into a fight, physical fight. The reason why Mihai allowed the bully to come in, he felt pity for the bully because the bully didn't speak French and English. He spoke Romanian. And the bully was like, who else? And the bully was smart. The bully was really smart. He was the only one that knew the machine. Now him and Junior got start really into a fight. And I was supposed to choose between the two of them. And the reason why they got into a fight is because Junior was actually really smart. And Junior was actually really motivated. Really, really motivated. So he went to learn the machine. Now, I dreamed. And this time, I'm going to say it. I'm going to regret it, but I dreamed that Junior would replace a bully. Because me and Junior peed in the pod, bro. This guy was so fucking nice. I fucking love Junior. I don't know. Then the tension rose up. Him and the bully started fighting a lot. And the bully would actually insult him with the other guys and would make jokes about him that were pretty messed up. Like, oh, fucking Chinese, you know. And he would make them laugh. And he would get people to tell Junior, we're laughing about you. You know? That was never my case. They were nice to me, dude. They were nice to me. Whenever they knew that I was young, I couldn't cook. Whenever there was food left over, you're gonna take it home. They used to call me Tiga, which is basically Tiga is like my boy. It's like when they have each other, like, hey, coworker or my man, I was my boy. I was younger, you know. And I was treated very nicely. And they used to have my back to a sense where I really felt indebted to them a lot. So, for example, there was two other agency workers, and they were talking a lot. And then and I was there too. I was talking with them. I was working though. They weren't. But of course I was working a lot less faster than if I wasn't talking. And then Mihai decided to fight the three of us. The next day he called me back and said, you know what, you've been there for a while, come back. Okay, no problem. I needed that job. I wanted that job. And then I thought it was from him. I had Aurel, which was my name is my neighbor. It was my neighbor because we used to work together. It's my neighbor because we're still living together. Well, not together, but you know what I mean. And he was like, when are you going to say thank you? I'm like, the fuck you want to thank you for? And Aurel was a really nice guy. Aurel was a nice guy. It was weird though. Aurel would actually tell you, fuck you. It was a nice guy, but he was also an asshole. If you didn't have a problem with him, he was really nice. But if you had a problem, he said, when are we going to say thank you? I say, wait, that's so fucked up. That is so fucked up. That is so fucked up. He said, when are you going to say thank you? And say, I need to say thank you? Why? He said, that's so fucked up. He said, you think you're back because you're a good worker? No, you're back because we like you. I'm like, what? Yeah. And then I learned after that it was true. It was them that asked me how you say, hey, bring him back, we want him back. You know? But the depression for that job was because, the third depression was because for the very first time I understood how mean the world was. I was having death threats. I was being abused every single day and nobody did shit. Yeah. See, as a kid, my first depression was because nobody did shit because I was. See, my first depression was because nobody gave a shit. Okay? But they didn't owe me shit. And they didn't see it. They didn't know I wasn't bad, and I was bad. I didn't say, hey, I need your help. That was my problem. I wrote one post of, just broke up, need someone to talk to. Nobody answered. Okay. Did a post, hey, this is my birthday, please come. Nobody came up. But then I made the event, I made the events like 2 months before. Nobody remember. Now, the last depression, the third depression, was because and it's really tough. It's really, really tough. It's really tough. The work depression was because I felt like people knew I was going through stuff and they didn't care. It was very different than you don't know what I'm going through. Yeah. And then the last depression that I had, which is, I don't want to say right now. Right now it's weird. It's not a depression, but it feels like a depression. And the reason, I think I'm afraid of having another depression. I'm afraid. So like I said, in October we had this huge depression. Well, we had this huge burnout because I was putting in sweat, blood, and effort. And the reality is I was getting a lot of hate. And my problem was this hate was affecting me. I was putting blood, sweat, and tears. Now, the reality is I wasn't sleeping. I was a dick to a lot of friends because I wasn't sleeping. And I had this one person that came to every single one of my video and they hated on me. And I took breaks. When I take a break, I take a break. Even right now, I'm taking a break, and I'm not going to answer comments. But I cannot help but reading them because you guys are my friends. I love you guys. And I had people defending me. And we go after them. And this guy was fucked up in the head. You know? But yeah. So, long story short. It's a fucking mess. That guy was a fucking mess. And then I start feeling angry, and I had Janice. The person I actually did worst was Janice. He was there for every single time, and he was just asking me to be. Janice was so supportive. We're gonna do a part 3. Holy shit, I talk a lot. Holy shit. So Janice, and we're back. Janice, fucking love Janice. So what happened in October, the biggest fight we had was because you really start treating the channel like it was ours. You really start talking about, hey, you're gonna make this video. Hey, you should make this video. This is gonna be the thumbnail that you use. And, for example, I would do TikTok live, right? At 8 o'clock, and then at 8 o'clock say, where are you? We're waiting for you. So I started to feel like Janice was putting pressure on me. And I was like, fuck you, dude, this is not your channel, right? But it was the other way around. Janice understood or saw that I was living a lot of pressure. And the more pressure he felt like I had, the more he was trying to help. And Janice understood that I wouldn't take the help, because when it comes to help, I'm so jaded. I don't like being help because I feel like help is not going to be forever. But I also feel like if this help come at a price. The number of times people said, hey, I help you, time for you to help me. With my ex. Another problem. I never told that story, but here we are. I'm not going to stop because that's enough for today. with my ex, the problem that we had was it really went fast, and then she was very reserved. Then for one night, she was horny, and we sexed. We really sexed, which got her more horny. And then that same day, she was like, "Oh, I love you." The next day, no. The one day I had was having good morning and good night. And then what I realized after that was she went back to her ex and they had sex. Which again, we were not like it's complicated. There was "I love you" being said. They were talking about being exclusive, but we never met. So it was the internet romance. It's like pen pals, right? She didn't owe me shit. But then when she stopped saying "I love you," she stopped saying good morning or good night. I felt like she really disconnected with me. And then it's like, can we stay friends? Now, I was kind of mad at her. Not because she slept with the ex. That I don't mind. We didn't meet each other. If I had a chance to fuck another girl before we met, I would have taken it. So I don't mind, That made me an asshole, but that makes me an asshole with needs, which is different. I wouldn't cheat on a girlfriend. I would cheat on a situationship. If that makes sense. I wouldn't cheat on I wouldn't cheat in a relationship, but friend with benefit, I would cheat. Yeah. So, and she's like, "Can we still be friends?" I'm mad at that because I'm like, dude, you basically pushed me aside. And it's your right. But I know that if we're in a friendship, and the worst thing is she was inside and out, she was beautiful. She would watch all my videos, which is crazy talk. But then at night, she would say, "Hey, let's talk." And she would talk a lot, which was okay. So her job, and I'm not going to say the exact job because she did ask me not to say it, but she was working, and I did say the job before. Social something. She was used to listening to people a lot, and she would listen to my videos. So when she came from work, she would talk a lot. And when I was trying to talk, say, no, I listened to you the whole day, your videos, my time to talk. And I'm like, I'm really grateful that you watched my video, but I didn't ask you to watch them. I don't give a fuck if you watch them. I'm thankful, but I don't give a fuck if you watch them. I'm not gonna say. I don't think I've ever. Oh well, I did that, but that's different. Okay, that's different. I don't think I've ever went to someone and say, "Hey, did you see this video?" I didn't say that to people, but it's more so, "Hey, I talked about you in this video." For example, Janice. Janice is a fan of Kinder Surprise. He loves Kinder. No, I'm so sorry. No. Not Kinder. Bueno. Yeah, Bueno. I think it's Kinder also. That's why I'm saying Kinder Surprise. Bueno. He likes Bueno a lot. So whenever I do a Bueno video, like, "Oh my god, I fucking love this video." And I'm like, "Dude, I'll make 30 videos a day. Why do you like it so much?" "Well, I like Bueno." It's like, okay. So, with that being said, with Janice, I was like, "Yo, I filmed this Bueno video. I talked about you." And a lot of times, I wouldn't even need to say that because, like, "Oh, yo, thanks for the shout out." Right? So I don't think I've ever asked people to watch the video, right? I never shout myself out. I never said, "Hey, new video drop. Go like it. Go share it. Go follow." I did ask people to follow, but if you guys know, and this is me being completely transparent, whenever I ask you to follow, whenever I ask you to, yeah, I only ask for follows. When I ask you for follows, right? I wanted you guys to see what a follow that we have. I will ask for follow when, for example, I was at 598 last week. I asked people to follow. I want to hit 600. I'll ask people to follow when I'm close to a certain milestone, just so I can reach a milestone faster. So she would come in and she would talk a lot, right? And she's like, "Yo, I listened to all your videos," and it sucks because I got ADHD, and I'm not using it as an excuse, but I was disconnecting. It was so fucking weird. And again, I didn't have a relationship in a while, so maybe I'm the weird guy. But she would do a face call, right? FaceTime, whatever, on Instagram, and we would talk. And she had her camera off. I had my camera on. Now, technically speaking, I understand that women, in general, can feel. Society will put non-followable. I know a lot of women. Most women that I know actually feel very insecure because there's standards of beauty that's not real. They're not true. You see Instagram babe that have a 1,000 filter. You can see Instagram babes that are a tummy tuck, butt lift, fake as fuck. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what you want to do. Do it's your body, your choice. And then you understand that a lot of people are seeing that and think that this is normal, that this was achievable with true hard work. No. This was achievable through fucking operations. There's again nothing wrong with that. So maybe she didn't feel comfortable in the skin. I accept that. But she was like, "What are you looking at?" And I had to show her. She was very secure too. Like, I was listening to a fucking TikTok live. She's like, "Oh, who's the girl in the background?" I'm like, "Bruh, it's a TikTok live." Yeah. Show me. And she would talk for like 2-3 hours. And I was looking at So we broke up because of that. We broke up because she was very demanding. She gave me a lot, but she was very demanding. The difference was, I was asking for shit. She was. Now, was I grateful for what she did? Yes. Did I ask for it? No. Somebody say, "Hey, you dropped something. Thank you very much." How many people, for example, you drop at $20. How many people will tell you, "Hey, you dropped at $20? How many people will pick it up? So the depression right now, it's not a depression. I'm afraid of calling it a depression because it's in the truth of the matter, I didn't heal from October. I was losing sleep. I was an asshole to a lot of people. And I feel bad about that. So 2025, and that's a beautiful thing because I was an asshole to a lot of people. Then at the same time, I was like, okay, well, I need to apologize. I need to do better. So the whole speech about being a better person in 2025, the whole speech about being balanced in 2025, the whole speech of putting less effort into ink and more effort into Stefan, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. That's not true. That's not true. The real reason why we're doing that, because last year was such a bad year, and I'm afraid of it. So this year, I'm doing everything I can not to have the same year. The whole being nicer to people is a great thing. Possibly the best thing I did since 2025 started. The reason I'm nice to people is because I was an asshole to certain people last year. It's balance. You think I'm starting here and I want to go here, but no, I'm starting here and I want to go here, So it's different. I never really healed. I never really healed from that. This is where the video makes sense. I have a very small circle of friends. The people that I do have in my life, I love. I'm a great friend. But I have a very small circle. And there's people online that I do care about that I'll talk to, but they're not my... I like them, but we're not friends. And that small circle of friends, I'm already not able or not wanting to ask for help. Because that's just the person I am. So already with that, now we have a last problem. That last problem. There's people that have been there for my whole life. My father, my mom. My mom... One of the reasons why I'm so sad right now. And the sugar in the food came down. I'm sad. The reason is I fucking love my mom. Please don't think that I don't like my mom. I love my mom. She's a gem. She's an angel. She's my guardian angel, to be honest. The problem with my mom is it's non-conditional. My mom, I'll kill somebody. And I said this a lot of time. right? I'll kill someone, and I'm still her habibi. I killed someone. I didn't kill someone. I'm not giving an example. Thank God. If I kill someone out of fight, she would ask me, "Hey, are you okay?" The guy is fucking dead, right? So, although I'm very grateful for that, it doesn't feel deserved. It doesn't feel. It feels natural. It feels for granted a little bit. I'm like, no matter what I do, I can do no wrong. So, might as well do wrong. My father is different. My father is, no, you fucked up. Schlack. Father was rough with me. My father was rough when I was young. Very strict. I was afraid of my father. So my father is possibly the only person that has any hold on me. And my mom tell me to do something. See, my mom's smart though. My mom, when she tell me to do something, this is an advice. My father, when he says do something, it's, if you don't do it, it's gonna be a problem. I'm not afraid of my father anymore because I'm a fucking man. And even if he would hit me, he's 67, so he doesn't hit as hard, trust me. But it's still, you see, I saw a video that's perfect representation. I saw it's a guy who was raising a lion, and he has his fucking shoes. And when they're not nice, he hits them on the nose. Right? Now, when they were a cub, it would hurt a lot. But they're not cub anymore. They're fucking lion. So he goes in, and he slapped them. And the lions are kind of afraid of the... they're kind of afraid of the sandals. The reality is they're afraid of they're respecting the sandals. My father is that. I respect the authority that he had as a child. Right? So when he said he'll never forgive me, like, this is the one guy I'm looking at for guidance or for advice. My mom, she gives great advice, but once again, my mom, the problem with the advice is, even if I fuck up the advice, she'll say I love you. My father is, that's not what he said. You know, my father, I can count on my fingers the number of times he said I love you. I'm not playing victim. So with my mom, there is really a feeling of I can do no wrong, and that sucks because you want your parents. Again, it's not masochist, but you want your parents to be like, "Yo, this is not good." Right? There's so many times in my life where people told me somebody doing something wrong, and say, "Okay, no problem," and ultimately that was not beneficial. So with my father, he was the one guy I was looking for advice. I was looking for kind of guidance, kind of like a model to follow, a role model to follow. I think ultimately is the fact that he's a man and I'm a man. That's also playing in the part, right? Imagine that you have a support system, a really good support system. Imagine that you realize that you had the same support system for your whole life, and you lose it. And this morning I was like, maybe I outgrow my role model, right? Maybe I outgrow my father. But it doesn't matter if I outgrow my father. It was still the person I was looking for. I'm not perfect. I'm flawed, but I need to be told I'm flawed, you know? Anyway, that's pretty much it. So, love you guys, take it easy. Sorry about the long video, but you know me, when I start. And I don't really finish. Anyway, love you guys, take it easy. Peace.